All right, let's dive into Atomic Habits. We're really going to break down those excerpts you sent over from James Clear's book. I want to build better habits, right? We'll figure out how.
Such a good book. So many good takeaways.
There are. But sometimes it's easy to miss the forest for the trees with a book this dense. So we'll pull out the key points, like Clear's emphasis on tiny changes. He's got this great ice cube analogy.
You're getting nothing's happening, then bam,
You'd hit the melting point. Same with habits. It's easy to get discouraged because we don't see huge changes right away.
And that's where that plateau of latent potential thing comes in, right? You're putting in the work, but it's all happening under the surface, building, then breakthrough.
Exactly. And that's why getting this is so important. Trust the process, even when you can't see the changes yet. Those small efforts, they add up.
Like investing, compound interest, right?
Not huge returns overnight, but over time. Magic. Okay, switching gears a bit. Clear also talks about habits as a reflection of your identity.
That's where it gets really interesting. Change your beliefs about yourself. Change your habits.
He's got these great lines, like every time you write a page, you are a writer. Be the person you want to be, not just focused on the outcome.
Exactly. Instead of I want to learn to code, it's I am becoming a programmer. Subtle shift in mindset, but it makes your actions match your goals.
Acting as if, until it's real. And those habits follow. Which brings us to those 4 stages of habit formation. Cue, craving, response, reward.
Super useful framework. Roadmap to how habits are formed, good or bad.
So it's a cycle. Cue triggers the craving leads to the response gets you the reward.
Yes, and the takeaway is once you get that cycle, you can kind of engineer your habits. Play with the stages.
Like, want to read more, make the cue obvious, book on your bedside table, make it attractive, pick a genre you love, make it easy to do, set a reading time, make the reward satisfying, join a book club to discuss.
Perfect example. You're hacking your brain's reward system, make the habit stickier.
I love that. We're not just slaves to our habits,
Yeah.
We can design them. Clear also mentions the brain as a prediction machine. What's that all about?
Basically, our brains are always trying to guess what's next. Based on what's happened before, habits established, brain goes on autopilot.
So it's this unconscious loop.
Totally. And that's where awareness comes in. Want to change a habit? Got to notice it first. Clear suggests things like a habit scorecard. List them all out, good and bad.
Taking stock. Right, which ones to keep, ditch, or tweak.
Yep. That's step 1 to taking control, getting those habits in line with your goals.
Okay, let's get practical. What about those implementation intentions?
Getting specific, not I'll exercise more, but I'll run for 30 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. at the park.
No wiggle room, when, where, how.
Exactly. Setting yourself up to win, less chance of backing out.
And habit stacking, another great one.
Oh, yeah. Using those routines you already have, attach the new habit to an old one. Like, after I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 5 minutes.
Piggybacking, making it automatic.
All about reducing that friction, making it easy for your brain to say yes.
It's amazing how these small changes add up. We've covered a lot. Tiny changes, identity, 4 stages, implementation intentions, habit stacking.
So much. We've got a good foundation, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about how to use this stuff. But we'll continue our deep dive in the next part.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to your deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about making habits attractive. That really stuck with me.
Yeah, it's huge. Claire talks about how our brains are kind of wired to seek pleasure, avoid pain. So good habits, make them fun. You're more likely to stick with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How do we use that, though? Like day to day?
Claire has a few ideas. One is what he calls temptation bundling. Doing something you want to do with something you need to do.
So I love listening to podcasts, so I only let myself listen while I work out.
Exactly. You're connecting that workout to something enjoyable. More likely to get those shoes on.
Built-in reward system. Nice. Clear also talks about how important our environment is for habits.
Oh, absolutely. Your surroundings can totally shape your behavior without you even knowing it.
So it's not just willpower. It's like designing your space to help you.
Exactly. Like trying to eat healthier. Make those healthy foods easy to see, easy to grab in your kitchen.
So stock the fridge with good stuff, hide the junk food.
You got it. Make the good choice the easy choice.
And if it's a bad habit you're breaking, make it harder to do.
Right. Want to cut back on screen time. Leave your phone in another room. Use one of those apps that block distracting websites.
Little obstacles to keep you on track.
Works like a charm. We're all creatures of habit, right? Our brains love those shortcuts, those automatic things. So design your environment to push you in the right direction. You're rewiring your brain.
I like that. We've got more control than we think.
Well,
Okay, but what about when we mess up? We all slip up sometimes.
of course. Nobody's perfect. Clear knows that. Setbacks happen. He has a great rule, though. Never miss twice.
Never miss twice. I like that. Simple, but it makes you get back on track fast.
Exactly. Break that bad momentum before it gets out of control. Miss one workout doesn't mean the whole routine's ruined.
Gotta be kind to yourself.
For sure. Beating yourself up doesn't help. Acknowledge it, learn, and move on.
And just get back to it as soon as you can.
Yep. Any step in the right direction helps. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly. We're all always learning, always improving. Okay, how about we get back to Clear's ideas about identity?
That's where it gets really interesting. Your habits showing who you think you are.
Right. We act based on, our beliefs about ourselves.
So if you think you're a healthy person, you'll make healthy choices.
And the other side of that, if you think you're lazy, undisciplined,
Yeah.
you're more likely to do things that prove yourself right.
A self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing.
In a way, yeah. But the good news is, you can choose who you want to be.
Actively decide how you see yourself.
Exactly. Clear says this is way more powerful than just focusing on the end goal. It's not just, I want to write a novel. It's, I am a writer.
So it's more about changing who you are than hitting a specific target.
Exactly. Little change in words, but big change in behavior. You see yourself as a writer. More likely to make time to write, find inspiration, keep going when it's tough.
Matching your actions to how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff. We have more control than we realize. Speaking of control, Clear's 2-minute rule. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Making it super easy to start. Any new habit, scale it down to 2 minutes, not a whole 30-minute workout. Just put on your workout clothes, move around for 2 minutes.
Build the habit of showing up, then ramp it up slowly.
Exactly. Repetition, consistency, those are key at the beginning. He even talks about a habit line.
Habit line, what's that?
It's like a visual
Yeah.
showing how repetition makes the habit stronger. Do it over and over. It gets easier, more automatic. Eventually, you cross that habit line. It's just natural.
So starting small helps you get there faster.
Yep.
Lower the bar to get those early reps in. Habits set. Then you can push it further.
That's a good way to think about it. Takes the pressure off. Okay, but what about when you just don't feel like it? How do we keep those good habits going? We talked about variable rewards, the Goldilocks rule.
Right. Those are good. Clear also talks about reflection, review.
Take a step back, see how you're doing.
Yeah. Ask yourself, what's working? What could be better? Do my habits actually match my goals, my values?
Claire talks about Pat Riley, that NBA coach. He had this system, career best effort, CBE. His players used it to think about their games, see where they could improve.
Yeah. They'd track their stats,
Yeah.
rebounds, assists, steals. Every week they'd look at it all, figure out what to work on.
It makes it real, makes them accountable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it shifted their thinking from just winning to always getting better, even when they were already at the top. Clear also says it's important to know the difference between goals and systems.
Goals versus systems, what's the difference? Well, goals are the results you want. Systems are the process that gets you there.
It's not what, it's how.
Exactly. Clear says we get so caught up chasing the outcome, we forget about building the habits that'll actually get us there.
So not lose 20 pounds, it's build a system of healthy eating and exercise, which leads to the weight loss.
You got it. And systems are more sustainable long-term. You got your system, you're less likely to fall apart when you hit a bump in the road or lose steam when you don't get that goal right away.
So it's changing how you think.
Yeah.
Not about the one specific thing. It's about building a whole way of life.
Exactly. Clear says that shift in focus, that's what leads to real progress, real lasting, satisfaction.
This has been a great deep dive into Atomic Habits. I'm feeling inspired, ready to use this stuff myself.
I'm glad. Building better habits is a journey. It's about becoming who you want to be, not just checking off a box.
And like Claire says, even small changes make a difference over time. Okay, before we move on, any final thoughts from the book, something to leave our listener with?
Let's see. One of the most powerful questions Clear asks is, what's the smallest change you can make today that'll have the biggest impact on your life?
Ooh, good one. Finding those small but mighty actions, starting to build that momentum.
Exactly. You don't need to overhaul your whole life. Sometimes the tiniest tweaks make the biggest difference. But I guess we'll have to pick this up after the break.
Can't wait. Welcome back. We've covered a lot with Atomic Habits. Really makes you think about these things we do every day.
Yeah, right. We're often just like going through the motions, don't really think about how our habits actually work.
And that's what's so cool about this book. Clear breaks it all down, gives us a way to take control.
Like a user manual for your brain.
Totally. Tiny changes, the whole identity thing, those 4 stages, so much good stuff.
And I think what really ties it all together is understanding that difference between goals and systems.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Worth repeating, though. Clear's point about goals being the result, systems being the path to get there.
Subtle, but it changes everything.
So it's less about, I have to get this one thing, and more about building the habits, the routines that'll naturally get you there.
Exactly. It's like, building a house. You don't just think about having a roof. You got to lay the foundation, put up the walls, get the plumbing and wiring right.
Then the house basically builds itself.
Right. Same with our habits. Solid systems. The results will follow.
That takes so much pressure off. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting better every day.
And that's where the real change happens, right? The daily work, the showing up, even when you don't wanna, the little things that add up over time.
Clear says it best. Success comes from daily habits, not some big one-time thing.
It's those small wins, those little victories. They build on each other, push you towards your goals.
And it's got to be enjoyable, right? Not just grinding all the time.
Definitely. Building better habits shouldn't feel like punishment. It's about building a life you actually enjoy, something that matches your values, that you're proud of.
This deep dive has been awesome. I'm feeling really motivated to use this stuff in my own life.
That's great. And I hope you, our listener, are feeling the same way. Remember, you can shape your habits, and those habits can shape your whole life.
So start small, be consistent, and enjoy the journey. Become the best version of yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, let's leave everyone with one last thought from James Clear.
What's that?
Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations.
Perfect way to wrap up. We don't have to wait for some big moment. We can start right now with one small change.
And those small changes, over time, they